The Zephyr, an Altarian scout ship, glided silently through the void of space, its sleek silvery form blending seamlessly with the starlit expanse. Inside, Commander Zorax leaned back in his chair, his lidless eyes fixed on the holographic display before him. The screen showed a small, unassuming blue-green planet orbiting a yellow star, the third world in a system the Altarians had only recently discovered. "What do we know about this planet?" Zorax asked, his voice rasping through the ship's recycled air. His science officer, a spindly being named Yixel, consulted the ship's database. "It's a Class 5 world, sir. Nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere, liquid water on the surface. The dominant species appears to be a bipedal primate called humans." Zorax leaned forward, intrigued. Bipedal primates. Have they achieved spaceflight? Yixel shook his head. "No, sir, but—" He hesitated, his antenna twitching nervously. "But what?" Zorax prompted impatiently. "Well, sir, their technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate. Just a few centuries ago, they were using primitive combustion engines and analog communication devices. But now," Yixel brought up a new display, showing a myriad of satellites orbiting the planet, bristling with antennas and solar panels. Zorax's eyes widened. "By the void, they've achieved orbital technology in such a short time." Yixel nodded. "And that's not all, sir. We've detected nuclear fission, advanced computing systems, and even rudimentary quantum entanglement communication." Zorax leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. In all his cycles exploring the galaxy, he had never encountered a species that advanced so quickly. It was unsettling. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the ship. Zorax snapped to attention. "What is it?" Yixel's face paled. "Sir, we've been detected. The human satellites have picked up our presence." Zorax cursed under his breath. "So much for a covert observation mission." "Show me," he barked. The holographic display shifted, zooming in on Earth. Zorax watched as the planet's communications networks lit up like a supernova, millions of signals crisscrossing the globe. News feeds displayed images of the Zephyr, captured by high-resolution cameras. Social media platforms erupted with speculation and excitement. World leaders convened emergency meetings, while scientists pored over the data, trying to make sense of the alien presence. Zorax slumped in his chair, his mind reeling. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. The Altarians had strict protocols for engaging with less advanced civilizations, protocols that required careful planning and gradual introduction to avoid cultural contamination and shock. But the humans had thrown all those protocols out the airlock. In a matter of hours, they had gone from blissful ignorance of extraterrestrial life to having undeniable proof of its existence, and they were reacting with a mixture of excitement, fear, and unbridled curiosity. "Orders, sir," Yixel asked nervously. Zorax sighed. "Open a channel to the Altarian High Command. They need to know about this." He paused, gazing at the blue-green world on the display, and set a course for Earth. "We need to make contact before this situation escalates any further." As the Zephyr turned towards Earth, Zorax couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The humans' rapid advancement and unpredictable nature would have far-reaching consequences for the galaxy, consequences that even the Altarians, with all their wisdom and technology, might not be prepared for. On Earth, in the halls of power and in the streets of every city, a new era was dawning. An era in which humanity would have to grapple with the reality of intelligent alien life, and with its own place in a much larger and stranger universe than it had ever imagined. The question was, would they rise to the challenge, or would their own worst instincts, fear, greed, and ignorance, be their undoing? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. In the heart of the Altarian capital, the Galactic Council convened in a vast, circular chamber. Representatives from a dozen starfaring civilizations sat in hovering seats, their faces a kaleidoscope of alien features, from the bulbous heads of the xiphoids to the shimmering, crystalline forms of the quaxons. At the center of the chamber stood Zorax, his uniform crisp and his posture rigid. He had just finished presenting his report on the humans, their rapid technological advancement, their detection of the Zephyr, and the potential implications for the galaxy. For a long moment, the chamber was silent. Then, a tall, spindly figure rose from its seat. It was Ambassador Xylox of the Xiphoids, one of the oldest and most influential members of the Council. "This is troubling news," Xylox said, his voice a reedy whisper. "A primitive species, advancing so quickly. It defies all our models of galactic civilizations." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Zorax stood his ground, his gaze level. "With respect, Ambassador," he said, "the humans are hardly primitive. Their technology may be young, but their minds are sharp and their ambition is boundless. We would be wise not to underestimate them." "Underestimate them?" A new voice boomed. Zorax turned to see General Zorgax of the Kragov Empire rising from his seat, his massive reptilian form casting a shadow over the chamber. "I say we should subjugate them." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Zorgax pressed on, his eyes glinting with malice. "Think about it," he hissed. "A species with such potential, such resources. If we do not bring them under our control, they could become a threat to the entire galaxy." Ambassador Xylox shook his head. "The Council's purpose is to foster peace and cooperation among all civilizations, not to conquer and dominate." Zorgax snarled. "Peace, cooperation. Those are the luxuries of the strong, Ambassador. The weak must either serve or be crushed." The chamber erupted into chaos, with representatives shouting and arguing across the room. Zorax watched in growing dismay as the Council devolved into factions, those who favored a peaceful approach to the humans, and those who saw them as a resource to be exploited or a threat to be eliminated. As the debate raged on, Zorax's thoughts turned to Earth and its people. He had seen the fear and confusion in their faces as they grappled with the reality of alien life, but he had also seen their curiosity, their determination, and their capacity for wonder. They were a young species, to be sure, but they were not weak. They had faced countless challenges in their short history, from war and disease to environmental catastrophe. And each time, they had adapted, innovated, and overcome. No, the humans were not a threat to be crushed or a prize to be won. They were a potential ally, a new voice in the chorus of the galaxy. And if the Council could not see that, then perhaps it was the Council that needed to change. Zorax straightened his shoulders and stepped forward, his voice cutting through the din like a laser. "Councilors," he said, "I understand your concerns. The humans are an unknown quantity, and their rapid advancement is unprecedented. But we cannot let fear dictate our actions. We must approach them with open minds and open hearts, as equals and partners in the great adventure of the cosmos." The chamber fell silent, all eyes on Zorax. He took a deep breath and continued. "I propose that we send an envoy to Earth, not to conquer or control, but to learn and to teach. Let us share our knowledge and our wisdom with the humans, and let us learn from their ingenuity and their courage. Together, we can build a future brighter than any of us can imagine." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, slowly, Ambassador Xylox began to clap. Others joined in, until the chamber echoed with applause. General Zorgax scowled and slumped back in his seat, his plans for conquest thwarted, for now. But as Zorax basked in the approval of his peers, he knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The humans were a wild card in the game of galactic politics, and the stakes had never been higher. As he left the chamber to prepare for his mission to Earth, Zorax couldn't shake the feeling that he was about to embark on the most important journey of his life. The future of two civilizations, and perhaps the galaxy itself, hung in the balance. And he would not let them down. General Zorgax paced the bridge of his warship, the Devastator, his claws clicking against the metal deck. On the view screen before him, the blue-green orb of Earth hung in space, a tempting prize ripe for the taking. "Status report," he barked at his tactical officer. "All systems nominal. General." The officer replied, his voice quivering slightly. "The fleet is in position and awaiting your command." Zorgax grinned, his fangs glinting in the harsh light of the bridge. He had assembled a mighty armada, 100 ships bristling with weapons and crewed by the most ruthless warriors of the Kragoth Empire. Against such might, the primitive humans would stand no chance. "Excellent," he hissed. "Prepare to launch the invasion. We will crush these upstarts and claim their world for the glory of the Empire." But even as he spoke, a flicker of doubt crossed Zorgax's mind. He had heard the reports of the humans' ingenuity, their resourcefulness in the face of adversity. Could they really be as primitive as they seemed? He shook off the thought with a snarl. It didn't matter. The Kragoth were the masters of the galaxy, and no puny primate species would stand in their way. "Commence the attack," he roared. The Devastator shuddered as its engines flared to life, propelling it towards Earth at impossible speeds. Around it, the rest of the fleet followed suit, their weapons primed and ready. On Earth, chaos reigned as the alien ships appeared in the skies above every major city. Panic and confusion gripped the populace as rumors and speculation ran rampant. Some claimed it was the end of days, while others saw it as the beginning of a new era, a time when humanity would take its rightful place among the stars. But as the Kragoth ships began to descend, raining fire and destruction upon the surface, it became clear that this was no peaceful contact. This was an invasion, a war for survival against an implacable and merciless foe. The human militaries, long prepared for the possibility of an alien attack, sprang into action. Jets scrambled to meet the invaders in the skies, while tanks and artillery took up positions in the streets. But against the Kragoth's advanced technology, they seemed woefully outmatched. Until, that is, they revealed their secret weapon. In the years since the Zephyr's visit, human scientists and engineers had been working tirelessly to reverse engineer the alien technology. And while they hadn't fully cracked the secrets of the Altarians' advanced propulsion and weaponry, they had made some startling breakthroughs. Now, as the Kragoth ships closed in, the humans unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy beams that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The Kragoth shields, designed to withstand the weapons of 1,000 worlds, buckled and shattered under the onslaught. Zorgax watched in disbelief as his ships began to fall from the sky, their hulls rent and torn by the humans' impossible weapons. He had underestimated them, a mistake he would not make again. "Retreat," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the ship. "All ships, fall back to the rally point." But it was too late. The humans, emboldened by their success, pressed their advantage. Fighters swarmed the Kragoth ships like angry hornets, while ground-based cannons pounded them with relentless fire. In a matter of hours, the once mighty Kragoth fleet was reduced to a handful of battered ships limping away from Earth, their dreams of conquest shattered. On the surface, the humans celebrated their victory with a mixture of relief and trepidation. They had beaten back the invaders, but at a terrible cost. Cities lay in ruins, millions were dead or wounded, and the fabric of society had been torn asunder. And yet, amidst the chaos and the grief, there was a spark of something else, a sense of unity and purpose that had never before been seen in human history. For the first time, all of humanity was united in a common cause, the defense and preservation of their world and their way of life. As the smoke cleared and the rebuilding began, one thing was clear: the galaxy would never be the same. The humans had shown that they were a force to be reckoned with, a species with the will and the means to stand up to even the most fearsome of foes. And in the depths of space, General Zorgax brooded and plotted his revenge. He had underestimated the humans once, but he would not make that mistake again. Next time, he would crush them utterly or die trying. But for now, Earth was safe, a beacon of hope and defiance in a galaxy full of darkness and danger. And as the humans looked to the stars with newfound wonder and determination, they knew that their journey was just beginning. In the aftermath of the failed invasion, General Zorgak seethed with rage and humiliation. His once proud fleet lay in ruins, scattered across the galaxy like so much cosmic debris. And the humans, those weak, primitive creatures, had been the ones to defeat him. It was intolerable, unacceptable, a stain upon his honor that could never be erased. But as he brooded in his quarters aboard the Devastator, a cold, calculating part of his mind was already planning his next move. He had underestimated the humans once, but he would not make that mistake again. "Bring me the Annihilator," he growled to his subordinates. The Annihilator, the most fearsome weapon in the Kragoth arsenal, a planet killer of unimaginable power. With it, Zorgax could reduce Earth to a smoldering cinder in a matter of moments. But even as his subordinates scurried to obey his command, Zorgax knew that it would not be enough. The humans had proven themselves to be a wily and unpredictable foe, and they would not go down without a fight. No, if he was to crush them utterly, he would need to strike at the very heart of their strength, their unity, their determination, and their unbreakable spirit. And he knew just how to do it. On Earth, the celebrations of victory had given way to a grim determination. The humans knew that the Kragoth would not give up so easily, and that the next attack, when it came, would be even more devastating than the first. But they were not afraid. They had faced the impossible before, and they would do so again. In secret bases and underground labs across the planet, the brightest minds of humanity worked tirelessly to unravel the secrets of the alien technology. They studied the wreckage of the fallen Kragoth ships, reverse engineering their weapons and shields, and adapting them for human use. And in the halls of power, the leaders of the world came together in a historic summit to plan for the future. No longer would humanity be divided by petty squabbles and ancient grudges. Now, they were united in a common cause, a fight for survival against an implacable foe. But even as they planned and prepared, a new threat was gathering on the horizon. In the depths of space, the Annihilator hung like a malevolent shadow, its sleek black hull bristling with weapons of unimaginable power. And aboard it, General Zorgax grinned with malicious glee as he prepared to unleash his terrible vengeance upon the humans. But the humans were not idle. Even now, a daring plan was being put into motion, a desperate gambit that could turn the tide of the war once and for all. A small, elite team of human warriors, armed with the most advanced technology and training the world had to offer, infiltrated the Annihilator under cover of darkness. Their mission, to find and destroy the planet killer before it could be used against Earth. It was a suicide mission, and they knew it. But they also knew that the fate of their world and of all humanity rested upon their shoulders. As they made their way through the labyrinthine corridors of the alien ship, they faced horrors beyond imagining, monstrous creatures and deadly traps that tested their courage and their resolve to the breaking point. But they pressed on, driven by a fierce determination and an unshakable belief in the rightness of their cause. And then, at last, they found it, the heart of the Annihilator, the terrible weapon that could destroy a world with the push of a button. But as they prepared to plant their explosives and make their escape, they discovered something else, a fatal flaw in the Annihilator's design, a weakness that could be exploited to turn the planet killer against the Kragoth themselves. It was a desperate gamble, but it was their only chance. With seconds to spare, they'd made their move. The explosives detonated, tearing through the Annihilator's hull and sending it careening off course. And then, with a final defiant act of courage, the human team overloaded the planet killer's power core and turned it against the Kragoth fleet. The resulting explosion was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen, a blinding flash of light that consumed the Kragoth ships like so much kindling. When the smoke cleared, nothing remained but drifting wreckage and the echoes of a dying scream. Against all odds, the humans had triumphed. The Annihilator was destroyed. The Kragoth fleet was in ruins, and Earth was safe. But even as they celebrated their victory, the humans knew that their work was far from over. The galaxy was a vast and dangerous place, full of wonders and terrors beyond imagining. And if they were to survive and thrive in this new era, they would need all the courage, determination, and ingenuity they could muster. For now, though, they could rest and heal and rebuild. The tide had turned, and a new day was dawning. A day in which humanity would take its rightful place among the stars. The news of the Kragoth's defeat spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On 100 worlds, in 1,000 languages, the story was told and retold. The tale of a small upstart species that had defied the odds and defeated one of the mightiest empires in the cosmos. Overnight, Earth became a household name, a symbol of hope and defiance in a galaxy too often ruled by fear and oppression. And the humans themselves became the stuff of legend, a people of indomitable spirit and boundless potential. In the halls of the Galactic Council, the mood was one of shock and awe. The Altarians, who had first discovered the humans and argued for peaceful contact, found themselves vindicated, but also humbled. They had underestimated the humans, just as the Kragoth had, and they vowed not to make the same mistake again. The Xiphoids, ever cautious and calculating, saw in the humans a potential ally, or a potential threat. They knew that a species capable of such rapid advancement and such incredible feats could not be ignored, and they moved quickly to establish diplomatic ties and trade agreements with Earth. But it was the Quaxons, the oldest and wisest of the galactic civilizations, who saw the true significance of the humans' victory. In the humans, they sought a kindred spirit, a people driven by curiosity, exploration, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. And they knew that if the galaxy was to have a future, it would be one shaped by human hands and human minds. And so, in a historic moment that would be remembered for generations, the Galactic Council extended an invitation to Earth, an offer of membership and partnership in the great community of the stars. For the humans, it was a moment of triumph and vindication, a recognition of their place in the cosmos and their potential to shape its future. But it was also a moment of great responsibility and challenge. As they took their place among the stars, the humans knew that they would face trials and dangers beyond anything they had ever known. They would encounter new species and new civilizations, each with its own unique culture and perspective. They would grapple with the profound questions of life, intelligence, and the nature of the universe itself. But they would also have the opportunity to explore and discover, to push the boundaries of knowledge and understanding, and to build a future brighter and more wondrous than anything they had ever imagined. And so, as the first human ambassadors stepped onto the stage of galactic history, they did so with a sense of pride and purpose. They knew that they were not just representing their own species, but all the hopes and dreams of a small blue-green world on the edge of the cosmos. In the years and decades that followed, the humans would make good on that promise. They would establish colonies on a dozen worlds, forge alliances with 100 species, and unlock the secrets of the universe one mystery at a time. They would face challenges and setbacks, to be sure, but they would also achieve wonders beyond imagining. They would cure diseases, end hunger, and unlock the secrets of the mind and the soul. They would create art and music that would move the hearts of 1 billion beings, and build cities that would shine like jewels in the night sky. And through it all, they would remain true to the spirit that had brought them to the stars in the first place, the spirit of curiosity, determination, and an unshakable belief in the power of the human spirit. For the humans had not just earned their place in the galaxy, they had changed it forever. They had shown that even the smallest and most unlikely of species could rise to greatness, and that the true measure of a civilization lay not in its weapons or its wealth, but in its courage, its compassion, and its boundless capacity for wonder. And as the human children played in the green fields of 100 worlds, dreaming of the stars and the wonders that lay beyond. The galaxy looked on with a sense of awe and expectation. For the future was bright and full of promise, and the humans would be there to meet it every step of the way. The end.